Ωραία, φίλες και φίλοι, ξεκινάμε. Στην επόμενη ενότητα περνάμε σε 3 ομιλητές, οι οποίοι είτε ηγούνται είτε μετέχουν σε επιχειρήσεις που δραστηριοποιούνται στην Ελλάδα και οι οποίοι προέρχονται από διαφορετικές βιομηχανίες, διαφορετικές αγορές. Επιλέξαμε να έχουμε 2 mainstream εταιρείες, μία τεχνολογικής αιχμής όπως είναι ο Όμιλος ΟΤΕ, μία παραδοσιακή πολυεθνική με μεγάλη παρουσία διεθνώς η Coca-Cola και μία καινούρια startup εταιρεία. Γιατί θέλουμε ακριβώς να τονίσουμε αυτή την ετερογένεια των εμπειριών από διάφορα σημεία του επιχειρηματικού κόσμου. Θα κάνουμε την αρχή με την πρώτη μας ομιλήτρια, την κυρία Λάνα Popovic. Η Λάνα είναι πρόεδρος του Business Unit Κεντρικής και Ανατολικής Ευρώπης της Coca-Cola, με 26 χώρες υπό την επίβλεψή της από τη Ρωσία μέχρι την Ιταλία. Η έδρα της μέχρι στιγμής είναι η Μόσχα και σε 2 μήνες θα είναι στην Ελλάδα. Η έδρα της θα είναι η Ελλάδα. Έχει μεγάλη εμπειρία στην Coca-Cola από το 2001. Έχει εργαστεί σε διάφορα μέρη της και έχει πλούσια εμπειρία από τις προσπάθειες που κάνει η Coca-Cola να ανταποκριθεί ακριβώς στις νέες προκλήσεις, όπως μας περιέγραψε ο Τζούλιαν προηγουμένως. Έχουμε μεγάλη χαρά να την έχουμε μαζί μας. Welcome, Lana.
Καλημέρα. Ήρθα από την Μόσχα σήμερα το πρωί και παρότι ζω ακόμα εκεί τώρα, έχω την Ελλάδα στην καρδιά μου. Γι' αυτό χαίρομαι που θα μετακομίσω στην Αθήνα το καλοκαίρι. Now, as you know, as you got it, thank you. I'm from Croatia, from the coast of Croatia. I'm not fluent in Greek yet, but I'm looking forward to continue learning and maybe in some occasion to prove that my skills in Greek are improving versus today. Now, today I'm going to talk about a topic which is extremely important for us because this is the topic of really thinking in the future, adjusting to the future. Why this picture behind me is 2 weeks ago in Barcelona, I was inspired together with a team with this masterpiece. And the masterpiece was created by Gaudi, as you all know, and it's Sagrada Familia. But how it was created, it's really impressive. The reason that it's so impressive is that when Gaudi envisioned his own masterpiece, he wanted to see things from a different perspective. And so what he did, he wanted to create a church without buttresses to support its standing. He wanted to create a church which is going to have a shape of nature, not squares. And therefore, in his masterpiece creation, he was thinking, how can he build these shapes? And he created a model upside down because he was modeling it with chains. And then only when the picture turned in the right way, which is to a great extent paradigm shift, he actually was able to create this, what we are admiring today, and it's to be finished in the next 20 years. What is really interesting is that what Gaudi stayed to his core. He didn't try to be a ballet dancer. He was still an architect with a broadened views. This is who we are at Coca-Cola System. And I'm very proud that we are working with one of the best bottlers in the world, with 3Epsilon, and we are forming a strong partnership where this year in Greece, we are celebrating 50 years. 50 years of proud serving the Greek consumers, 50 years of us trying to put a business into 4 important pillars. 1, we are a local system. With our Simatari plant, with our employees, we are employing 1,800 employees as a system and touching 21,000 in the Greek market. We are an important part of the growth of the economy. But that's not all. We are trying to build a new generation, and therefore, from the programs for the youth and empowering women, We actually, through our programs, touch on 10,000 women and young people that are going to build this economy further. We are also conscious of the environmental footprint. And so our vision as Coca-Cola is by 2030, we're going to collect and recycle every bottle we put out there. In Thessaloniki, there is already a proof point of magic that we can create together. So we actually collected 10 tons of waste. 1 ton was actually converted into a furniture that the people of Thessaloniki can enjoy today. So waste was not waste anymore. It turned into something useful. And the last, the tourism in Greece is a strategic priority and we want to be part of it. And we are a partner with tourism because this is not only today, but this is what Greece is tomorrow. Now, this is what we are today, but the theme of this conference is about the future. And when we think about the context, the future is defined, what they say, with 5 very important forces. 1, we are living in a blur. Where we work, where we live, it's getting blurred together. So it doesn't matter anymore where we do it, it's what we do, and when we want to do it. At the same time, things are moving faster, and what is really happening is that from a classical ways of looking at the genders and the diversity, and even inclusiveness, we're moving into gender fluidity, which is one of the important trends of defining the future. Ultimately, in all this fast pace, what is happening is that the anxiety is rising. People are stressed. And therefore, I don't know how much you know, but essentially one of the most downloaded apps is the app for meditation. People need to anchor themselves somewhere, how to face the pace. Ultimately, the license to operate today is not a luxury to take care of the planet. It is really a necessity. And this is something that is expected from us, and is going to be continued expected from us in the future. And then the last but not least, soon we are not going to be alone anymore. Artificial intelligence, even today, is influencing the way we live. The examples of Alexa is going to be part of our lives. Most likely, my son, who is 8, will never need a driving license, because that's not the activity he will need to learn, but it will be done by the artificial intelligence of the self-driven cars. So that's the context we live in. Now, let's take a look at the Coke company for the last 130 years. We started with Pemberton as entrepreneurship, blank page. He invented a syrup that turned into a most powerful brand in the world and delicious drink. It was easy. There was one bottler, there was one market. And then it got more complex. And in 20th century, we actually expanded with one brand, one category, multiple markets. The challenge comes today, and we're still not over this challenge, that we need to really win in a multiple categories, different taste profiles, multiple countries with the different models. We really believe that the companies, the global companies that will be able to win in the new model will be the ones that we can learn from. How do we fight in this new context? It all starts from people. And there are 4 key growth behaviors that at Coca-Cola we believe in. Easier said than done, by the way. 1, we're starting from curiosity. If we are cycling our own thinking, we are never going to move forward. From curiosity, it needs to lead to empowerment. If we are empowered to think, own our pieces of the responsibilities in the puzzle, this is where we are great and strong as a system. Then we move to very dear to me, it's inclusiveness. Inclusiveness because it's not only about the gender, it's the inclusiveness of thinking. The different thoughts makes us stronger, different backgrounds, different perspectives. It's not about unity, it's what we make out of different views. And ultimately, making it perfect is a blockage. We believe in trying new things, and therefore versions of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the new behavior that we're embracing. We are not going to get it done from the first attempt. So, the name of the game is adaptability, becoming new chameleons. I know we all were tested with the IQs. Some of us were better, some not. Then we were taught that it's not about the IQ, it's about the EQ. Good thing EQ can be learned. Now we're saying it's neither. It's about the AQ. It's how we are able to adapt to the fast-moving trends and the pace around us. So let me give you 4 key pillars on how do we try to adapt at the Coke system. 1, we start with people, and therefore people and leadership is our primary focus. So how do we grow as a better professionals and a better leaders? Through feedback. If there is one thing that I would like to leave you with, and we're trying to reinforce in our company, is the power of feedback. It's not where the feedback is coming from, it's what's been said. So we are trying to break the hierarchical rules. And I'm the one who, by the way, has a reverse mentor. She's the one broadening my horizons. She's the one telling me very directly when I'm wrong. And it's me missing on gift if I don't embrace that feedback. That's something we're trying to enforce in the organization overall. Second, you cannot enforce solving problems by teaching people what to do, even coaching them. We really believe that you need to give them tools. Tools to try, probe, and drive different results by doing things differently. And therefore, there are a number of tools. I'm going to just talk a little bit about it too. One is design thinking. Design thinking is something that we're implementing as of December last year across our markets, which is essentially condensing the period from articulating the problem through ideation, through finding the solutions to that problem. In the old school, we were brainstorming for days. We actually had sessions, 2 days workshops to brainstorm. That doesn't work anymore. Brainstorming and the design thinking is done in 5 minutes. Articulating and visualizing your ideas, and then articulating the solution and piloting the solution. The other one is refresh. Refresh is where we say a hackathon means sprint, which essentially in a market, we articulate a problem, and in 5 days, the problem is defined, we're ideating around the problem, we're pitching on the ideas. In the next 3 days, you're actually creating a business solution. As you noticed, it's again a thing that it's not hierarchical. We are trying to get the ideas from different levels of the organization, and we saw it working because we had movement leaders as the ones who are deploying these new tools to make really a new output and not cycling of the same. We're talking digital as something that is standing next to us. It's not. Disruptive technologies and digital is not about the thing. It's the way we do things. So at Coke, we have the fastest growing department, which is called CIC. We're actually monitoring the social media and having so far 675,000 interactions which are one-to-one with the consumers. At the same time, we're defining our own app. We learned from failing. We thought Coke app is about content. It's not. Consumers can get content from so many better players in the market than Coca-Cola. They want transactions with Coke. So we redefined Coke app with the relevant content driving transactions, and we're learning. We have 20-25% of our coolers with beacons. They're connected coolers. So what we're trying to do is find a place where a virtual world meets the bricks and mortar. That's the fluid which is going to define the world we live in. It's already defining it. Ultimately, advanced analytics is the name of the game, and therefore there is a lot of effort invested not only to source the data, to own the data, to digest the data, and ultimately use data to segment execution as well as to drive conversations in direct to sell to consumers. Innovation is not a sidewalk. In Coke, I'm going to talk about, in closing, the two things on how we see innovation. Starts from failing again. We did something which was called incubator and growth units a year back. It was called the version 1.0. We said, the ones selling Coke, a mass brand, a universal product, cannot sell a niche brands, at least not with a success. So what we did, it was a unit which really in an agile way brought in 6 months 5 different products in 10 different cities, which was unknown for Coke. Still, the scale was not there. Our objectives, aside of learning, were not met. And so we brought it into the ING 2.0. And we're currently working on course correcting on impact, keeping what worked. When we're defining the portfolio of tomorrow, you can say, I mean, she's crazy putting this science fiction out there. But we're actually working with writers of science fiction to define what the future tastes are about so that we can adjust the portfolio for the future and the future consumers. And how to market it? We're marketing it through revolutionizing the marketing organization. We are a marketing company, and therefore, marketing department is about project-based organization, looking outside, benchmarking ourselves versus the new trends, the agile companies, and ultimately, really doing things differently and faster. With this, I would like to close and say, copy actually the famous Chinese proverb which says, when the winds of change blow, some people build houses or walls. We should build windmills. That's what we believe in Coke. And ultimately, that's not something which happens by accident. That's something that we create by creating a safety net. That is my role in this part of the world. That my teams are feeling safe in experimenting rather than fearing consequences of doing something wrong, because not doing is the worst consequence of all. Thank you very much.